everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Relative Pitch. Thank you so much for understanding our little hiatus last week. We always talk about needing the work and life and just personal life balance, and we're taking our own medicine. We took our own medicine, so it felt great. What did you guys do with your last week to kind of get everything back on track?
Nothing.
I love the honesty, Michael.
What
Thank
takes
you.
place this week?
Why does it take place this week?
Marching band is over. And we
All right.
had 3 straight contests, which should never be done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the whole thing of Bantober, you know, that thing is like, it is true. I don't like that it's true, but it is true. You know, that month of October, really be fighting people on site.
Like just bam.
Yeah, every week, every weekend, you're just taking and all that. But you know, most people for I know it's like over. I know people in Florida, they have MPA coming up. So, but that's I think the first week of November, and then they would be done. Um, but for me, how I spent my week, my birthday was last week. So I just kind of spent that doing that. And you know, everybody was like, what are you doing for your birthday and everything? And I was like, school. It's, you know, when you get older, your birthday becomes like, yeah, it's a day. I'm still doing the same things. Like, you know, when I was teaching, what would I be doing on my birthday? I would be teaching students how to play an instrument, how to read music, how to do this, how to be a human being. And now that I'm back in school, what am I doing on my birthday? I am still teaching. I am still conducting. I am, you know, doing all the stuff. But I did have a little birthday dinner with the people that were in Atlanta. Lauren is all the way on the other side of the country, but she was there in spirit. But yeah, that's really how I kind of spent my time through the week of relaxation.
I just have to say that, like, if you think about it, like, most people start like classes like what, August? Was it mid-August, late August, or whatever? And then we kind of just starting, so it's a lot of syllabus week. You're kind of just getting into things. September, you have like one break with, is it Labor Day? Like, right, that we can hold on to. Like, if we get to Labor Day, we can chill. But then it's nonstop through October until Thanksgiving, right? So
Mhm.
that's why I always see like Thanksgiving or like October as like hell month, because I'm like, there is just no stops. It's just go, 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 don't die, go.
Well,
Yes,
also, it wasn't the middle or the end of August. It was August 2nd
Ooh.
when school started.
public school.
So we had a month and a half. Then there was finally a break. Yeah.
Well, at least at the forefront, you have that energy, right? Like you're like going into it and everyone's excited, but then once you get to October, people are like, "Don't talk to me.
Band
Uh-huh.
camp.
Don't ask me about no assignments."
Band camps.
Oh yeah. If you've been
I'm,
doing band
I'm
camp,
like
over.
I'm telling you, if you on the teaching thing of band camps and things, your last break is June.
That's true.
I have not stopped teaching since I look at my calendar.
Mm.
July 11th.
Yum.
Yeah, Jeff.
I mean, did you choose the educator life or did the educator life choose you?
Oh, which one? Which one?
I chose to have a livable income.
Mm,
Mm, mm.
I guess. I mean,
This
but
place
the
is too
thing is, it
expensive.
is fun. It is fun.
I love it.
It's fun. So I'm just like, you know, it's something that yes, we choose to do, but it's gratifying. One to just see kids happy and just like yesterday was a competition and they were acting a fool in
They
the in a
really,
good
really
way.
were. We
Like
did this. Blur, we
Oh
did the
yes,
jerk.
we were
What was
dancing.
the one? We did the bus stop.
We did the bus stop. Like, mind you, it was just it was a good day. So that's what we do this for, is to see the happiness on students' faces. So, but all in all, it looks like we're finally getting to a break soon. But as we've always said on this podcast, whenever you feel overwhelmed or overstimulated, it is okay to take a break. It is okay to just say, look, I need time to myself, and let me go ahead and get my house in order. Then I'll come back and I'll give you whatever you need. But until then, please respect my time.
And that's definitely something for me. I felt like the past 2 weeks have been like go, 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 like nonstop between my balance of school life,
Mhm.
now being in real big swinging gear. Like we got concerts and everything coming up. I'm planning, already planned my first recital. Like all these things are happening. And then for me, y'all know that my fellowship with the Seattle Symphony started in June. And so right now, the concert season's really picking up in the sense that all these programs that we were pre planning for are actually coming to fruition. Like we have concerts and things that my department specifically are starting up this week and they're big shows. And so I had to kind of take these past 2 weeks to really figure out what's my balance. Like, how do I go about this in a way that I'm not always catching up to things? I don't feel like I'm missing things. I don't feel like I'm waiting to the last minute to do things. Like, I want to be the person who my homework is done the Friday before the Monday it's due. You know what I mean? And then like I want to be like the person who, if there's something, a performance I'm doing this month, 2 months ahead, the music's already known. Me and the pianist are locked down. Like that's who I want to be. And I had to learn how to get that back the way I used to be whenever I was just made, when school was like just my main big bowl thing, to now getting it back to that level now that I also have this really huge career obligation that I'm also wanting to do. And so it was really great. It was crazy how one little thing being changed from my schedule allowed me to really like I've been like getting back into it, and now I feel like I'm actually ahead of where I was like when I first, 2 weeks ago and everything. Like I feel like I'm on top of it. So I cannot incur, and I also like that feeling of feeling like you are ahead of what you're doing instead of being like catching up to it feels so good. And the fact that I had like verbal affirmation from my professors being like, your progress is here. Like we can see it, it's showing. Like that was my biggest thing of making sure that I wasn't slacking in anything that I'm doing, and having that affirmation from supervisors, professors saying, no, you're doing the stuff, you are doing the things. And I feel like I'm even like giving more to it. I can't encourage you enough. Take what if it's just one, if you need one mental health day from something, if you need to just drop one thing that week that you're doing to make you feel like you're catching up on something, do it. Do it. Because after the fact, when you have everything and you're like, oh baby, I'm on top of this, it's gonna be way better. You're not even gonna worry about the one thing that you had to just stop and cut out to make everything more in line. So always, I will encourage it from day one.
Yeah. So, Laura, how has your fellowship been? How has it been going over there with the Seattle Symphony?
It's, I am so lucky in the sense that my department, which is the Education and Community Engagement Department, is such a great like group of people in general. Everyone like we just have very like we're all from very different backgrounds, but we merge together in a very beautiful way. So we work together really wonderfully, and everyone's skill sets kind of brings to the group in different ways. But also the projects that I'm specifically coordinating are things that I actually care about and things that it excites me to go to work. Like I don't have this feeling like when I wake up and I go, oh my gosh, I have to go to work. I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to go to work. And I'm being legit. Like I'm not lying about that in the sense that like I enjoy when I'm at work. I enjoy the people I'm around. I enjoy the work that I'm doing because it's stuff that I actually have been wanting to do. It is so different being in a career field where you're like, this is something I'm actually passionate about. Because some of the time I don't feel like I'm working. I feel like it's something that I enjoy. I enjoy writing these emails to these people. I enjoy writing up this document or this project proposal because it's something that just makes sense in my mind to do, that doesn't feel like an extra side task. You know what I mean? Like sometimes whenever I used to do homework in the past, I was like, I feel like I don't really need this, but I feel like I'm just doing this to appease something else. This is not that. This is something that I'm like, I feel like this is pulling out the best side of me and my creative juices. Um, so with that in my department, shout out to y'all. Y'all are amazing, and I'm very open with them about like how I'm feeling and the task, and if it's something I need help with it, and they're always the same way. They're like, can you help me out with this task? They understand my school life balance. They're always asking about school and being like, how are things going? Making sure that I'm not overwhelmed, which I do really appreciate a lot. And with the actual fellowship, they're still so the actual fellowship, this is only the second year they're doing it, right? So, and the first year was fully remote online. So in a way, us cohort for this year are kind of the guinea pigs of what this is actually going to look like, and we have kind of accepted that because we are just the first ones to ever do this in person, and all of our the ballet, the opera, King FM, and the symphony are just opening our doors back up for in person performances. So it's a new looking thing for everyone. Um, and something within the cohort we have been discussing are like really like what are sustainable things that these programs should be doing in order to actually help the cohort, the people who they accept into this fellowship. And something I do want to say that if I can say kind of grinds my gears, is when in these fellowship situations that are specifically for people of color, that most of our time, instead of being focused on actually learning things that are going to help us be the best at our arts administrators for our next steps of life, we're talking too much about our trauma and too much about our past, which is weird because you would think in a situation where you're all like minorities of a certain, or we're all people of color to a certain extent, that we would already have this shared experience, which we do, by the way. But it's like the situations and the workshops and all those other things that they're kind of putting us in, a lot of them are focused a lot on too much on like personal things and also past stuff. And we're more like, we want to know like financial analysts on the like nonprofit side. We want to know how to become like a grant writer on the that's what we're here for, because those other art administration fellowships that are not specifically for people of color, that's what they're doing. That's what they're learning, and that's what whenever they go out to apply for jobs and they know all these skills and all these credentials, say I have this in business management, arts management, da da da, and then I can say I sat in trauma circles for a year. Who's gonna get that job? So that's my biggest thing. And I listen, I back whatever I say up. I have said this to them, and this is something we have all expressed because I'm not here to sit up and talk about what I have faced as a woman of color, a black woman within the classical music field. I don't need to talk about it. Come listen to this. If you want to know, just come listen to this. But I want to learn about all the little things that you can't learn within music school because they're just not built like that yet, right? Like they're just now getting these arts admin courses, but usually those are actually within the business school more than anything, not even in the College of Fine Arts. So that's something that has come, I think, up to, we've been talking about that a lot more this week because I'm really starting to think, well, like, what am I going to be 5, 10 years from now? And what can I do right now? What can this fellowship offer me that I'm going to take into that, you know?
Mhm. So you hit on a point um, that I kind of just want to bring up. Like a lot of these courses that are designed for people of color really do kind of harp on trauma. And not just sessions, but even look at like something as simple as movies. The movies that like say, I'm just gonna take Black because that is my culture. That's one thing that I always identify with. The Black movies that come out are usually trauma-based Black movies. But then because first of all, I am tired of trauma. I really am. Like for years upon years, I these movies would come out and I'm like, I just can't. I just can't. One of the movies, like Moonlight,
Mm, mm,
Academy Award winning, great cinematography, all of that. But that is traumatizing to me as a Black gay man. I don't want to see that personally. It's a great movie. It's just those are a lot of triggering moments. Okay, what about something like, I don't know, make a black gay movie that is positive, that is uplifting, but the people that are in charge, they're like, no, they need to talk about their trauma. They need to, experience that. I've experienced enough. I really have. Also, when you go into these diversity seminars, whatever, it's trauma based. What I find is disrespectful when the only black person that's in a room, tell us about your experience.
Ooh, I hate it.
You know my experience. Next question.
Mm.
Other people, would you like to tell your experience?
Mhm.
Talk about that. Actually, I would personally rather the person who was giving the seminar to ask the white people, what is your experience with black people?
Ooh. Ooh.
Ask that
Can
question.
can you
I want to
imagine?
hear I want to hear that experience. That to me
Okay.
is more important right now because and this is grinding my gears. This is grinding my gears because it's been on the tip of my hat in the past couple of weeks. So, I'm getting my master's degree in conducting right now, and my future goal is to one day be, at the university system. And so, all the jobs are coming open right now, and you look at what do they require for an application. And of course, a CV, a cover letter, some teaching philosophy, but then that last one, a diversity statement. Why do I, as a Black gay man, applying for a position that obviously it ain't, y'all weren't looking for me 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 years ago. Why am I creating a diversity statement where I'm supposed to say, I believe in diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Well,
Just
also,
read.
these
Mhm.
are not things in 2019
Correct.
and before.
Correct. And you know what? The reason why that diversity and equity statement is there is because they realize that the people that they've hired don't really care about any of that. But you know what? For these institutions, it's a way to cover their own ass. That's really what it is. Oh, well, this professor said that they, cared about diversity. They cared about equity and inclusion. This is what they said in their writing. So we are not at fault.
Yeah.
But
Well,
then my question is, as a person of color, as a minority, obviously diverse, these things are very important to me. Because if it wasn't, I would not be here. I'll be. So really, what do you want me to say in this? Because if I were to say the music community has been outright racist, outright misogynistic, outright homophobic, things need to change, and this is how it needs to change from a radical standpoint.
Mm.
Everybody on that board will read that and say, we don't want him because
nope.
he is going to do too much to shake it up.
Ooh, you just. Ooh, a whole nother. Yep.
With
Just popped up.
with that and these searches happening post 2019, we're going to say post 2019, they're starting to become more targeted searches in higher academia where they target certain people who fit what they're looking for. That won't rock the boat. And it is happening all over. I know at least 4 universities. It's like, we're going to hire an oboe professor that doesn't look like an oboe professor. And I was like, oh, okay.
Mm.
So you just don't want to like be fair on every job. You just want to be like, We're gonna target the oboe. Okay, cool.
I something because I don't know who's triggered it or said it, but I think when you were Anthony, when you were talking to the whole like, if I'm a black gay male, like why do I have to say it? Think about it. Think about the people we have met who are themselves minorities, who are from backgrounds you would consider they should have a great understanding of that, yet they act the way they do, right? Because I'm gonna say it. I've met some people. I met some skin folk who ain't kin folk in
That's
our industry.
that's tea. Oh, that's tea. I
So
can name up quite a few.
that's what I'm saying. Like I, so I understand still why. I first of all, I think diversity statements are dumb, and I don't think we need. It's same for um, land acknowledgments because they don't do anything unless you are acknowledging something in order to say like also like 10% of what we're doing is going to go back to this tribe to help them we rebuild it. If not, I don't want to hear it because what else? All you are doing is placing blame and responsibility on people who've come before you, but not accepting any responsibility for what you have in front of you to do now today. So I don't want to hear it.
Mhm.
Period. Diversity statements, I don't want to hear it. I want to see it. Like, what are you actually going to do whenever you are in that position? Which sometimes you won't find out until later, but you can look at what Michael was saying. You can look at what they have done and talk to that and go, oh, well, in your diversity statement, you said this, but when I look back at all the people who you've either worked with or da da da, or this, or the projects you've done, they've been very Eurocentric. What do you have to say about that? That's the question they should be asked on the spot in their interview with people with people's eyes on them. That's the question I want to see answered.
Mhm.
But also at the same time, these hiring process, like people want a safe candidate, right? They want someone who goes checks boxes. Maybe I will see like Michael's been saying the post 2019 hiring boxes they want to see. So if we get a woman, that's great. If we can get a person of color, that's great. If we can get like someone who's not straight, cool. Like so, if you do one of those things and then you add on the possibility of, not stirring the boat, or not stirring the pot, not shaking the boat a little bit. Oh,
Mhm.
they're going to go for you.
Oh, they're
But I have seen those people in those positions and they're not doing the work that you nor I would be doing in those positions,
Mhm.
right? They are happy with coasting because they are happy with exactly where they are. I get it. Listen, I know not everyone's going to be the person to go in a situation and flip the table, but I will never be that person who can just be comfortable with allowing things to stay the way they are and then also not progressing other people who come after me who are from my culture, my background, and from like non-traditional like backgrounds within my space. How are you doing that? That you can be held responsible for because I've seen plenty of that as well.
Yeah, I think so. Back to the all skin folk and kin folk. That is so true. So true. Now, my issue with these diversity statements from people of color
Mm,
are because you have to remember who is looking at these diversity statements.
mm.
Who makes up the board who are reading this? Just a color analysis. Who are reading this?
Not Michael pointing at himself. Oh my gosh.
No, but
So
not make it better. Just
they truly, one, ain't gonna understand any of that experience that will
Mm,
come from a person of color. Now, but I have to take a little step forward. I feel like some of them would end up taking some of those sentences.
and using it for themselves. Child, I'll cut someone. If I ever see.
Because
Ooh.
the thing is, we're always talking about change, blah, blah, blah. And we're talking about these searches. Okay, well, who are on the board for these searches?
You
on
already know.
at these institutions that are a predominantly white. So who, because on a search committee, on an academic, search committee, they're usually tenured professors.
Yep.
Mm.
In the US, I don't know the statistics, somebody can look it up, but I'm pretty sure it's a high, very, very high number of tenured professors who are white. And there is a very low number of people of color that are tenured professors in any subject. So that's where my kind of I guess not
Frustration.
anger, aggression maybe comes from is because who is reading this? Because
Mm-hmm.
if it was the person of color that I knew was on this board and I'm submitting it to them, absolutely I would have no problem. Because then that person of color would know all skin folk and kin folk. That's that
Mm-hmm.
part. And two, they would understand how to read through BS. And they will understand yes, what you said about we need to change this is absolutely correct. Now, there are some individuals who are Caucasian, okay, who are like, yes, I am all for this change. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
We love a good ally. We really do. But for the
We do.
most part, it is lip service, not real service. They're like, yeah, we want diversity. That you said that with your mouth. You didn't actually
Mm.
mean that. So that's where I'm coming from is that who the people that are on this board truly do they really do not care. They truly do
No.
not care. And that's because I've seen people that have been on some academic searches. And I'm like, no way. No way.
Like, you got it, Michael. You got it.
I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, the whole academic searches thing is flawed. We already know this.
Fact.
Yeah. I
Penny
mean,
fact.
like Anthony said everything.
It's true.
It is.
And it really annoys me with because every time we bring up hiring practices, people are always just like, "Well, the best person who has a job obviously was the best person for the job." And I was like, "Don't lie." Like, I'm sorry. Like, if you're gonna tell me that the reason why U.S. orchestras and orchestras, symphony orchestras in general, are so white is because there aren't other people of color who are just as good, if not better, than those people who are sitting in those seats, you're really gonna lie like that? You gonna
Well,
lie like
remember a couple episodes ago, remember I brought that up. That student that
that?
was sitting in front of me, that he
Mm-hmm.
felt
Yep.
that the only reason people of color, black, I knew he was talking about black people, got those positions above him is because they were black and they needed to fill a quota, not because they maybe practiced harder. They maybe really, really, really got exactly just better than you. No, they can't comprehend that.
No, because it's not possible
Correct.
in
Mm-hmm.
some people's eyes. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
No, I mean, well, like, well, think about it. There's for us, for skin folk who are in these positions, especially once you get past like just the high school level. When people see you, someone's always going to ask the question of how did you get here,
Mm-hmm.
right? If that's the first thing always is anytime I enter into a space that is above like the high school level and I'm doing what I'm doing now, there's always someone, usually a white male, who will look at me and I know exactly what he's asking. He's like, "How the hell did she get into this room?"
Mm-hmm. Yes,
And
absolutely.
it's crazy because I think about that and like the person you were just now mentioning who was like, "I just believe they gotta, all this affirmative action shit." Like they in their community that's not what goes on. It's normal for them to be in those spaces, right? So then when they see one of us somebody with some darker skin tone, they got to ask themselves like, now what program did you go through? What who was your teacher? Who was your, you know what I mean? Who are your parents, or who did your parents know? And da 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 for you to be in this space.
Gotta
And I
get
hate it
here.
because they can't imagine you having the financial resources and the familial support to get to where you are, the same place that they are, without any special program or fellowship or anything. And that's what it really is. Let me go ahead and put my finger right on this shit. When I look into American Orchestra specifically and all these little initiatives they're going on, why are the only reason that you have black and people of color in your orchestra is because of a fellowship program? Tell me that. Tell me that.
Speak on
Because
it.
it pisses me off whenever I see a person of color within an orchestra and I go, ooh, I'm going to look them up. Who is this? And it says fellowship position. I'm like, God damn it.
And all the people on the boards like this.
We
Right
did
there, look at me,
good.
right there.
We did good.
We did it, look.
Uh-huh.
Look,
Uh-huh.
program
Right. Got a nice picture.
and a good picture.
And
Yeah.
so, what that is doing, I'm going to go ahead and say the next step of that. What that is doing is creating a structure within everyone, with specifically those people who feel like they're getting undercut for these jobs and positions. They're going, oh, well, they can only get into it because it's a program specifically created for them. And it's
Mhm.
like, okay, all right, bet. Let's talk about it then. Why is that the only reason it happened? Like 90% of us can't even get in those spaces anyway. Let's talk about that reason. Why we can't just do the normal route of auditioning and then get selected for this orchestra? Why can't we do that? I wish we could. I wish I didn't have to go through a fellowship, internship, all these things just to get into the space that y'all just went and auditioned for. You don't
Mhm.
think I just want to audition for something and win it?
Talk about it. Talk about it.
Like it, so I want, especially these institutions who are just now doing these initiatives, and the institutions who are they're creating these in your head, understand what that looks like whenever your orchestra is all the same shade, same colors, and then the one instance you have a diversity program, that's the only time you get a drop of color in your orchestra. Think about it. What do you do? What do you actually stop making these fellowship programs? I'm going to go ahead and say it. Stop making them. Change your hiring practices. Change your hiring practices. If you just change your hiring practices, we would not have to have fellowship positions created for people who should have been there in the first place.
I don't think she stuttered.
Did not. Did not.
Yeah.
Whoo, child.
So
I'm
that look, child. Exactly. Exactly. Now, for I do want to bring some statistics up in here real quick, okay? Because I looked it up, okay? So, for music professors in the US by race, for white people, 69.6% of music professors are white, 10.9% is Asian, 9.7 is Hispanic, and 7.2% is Black or African American.
mm,
That means on a panel of 10, which they're never that large. First of all, they're like five,
Yeah, they're usually
three,
only five. Yes. Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes three.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and in my case, when I got hired,
ooh.
Was there a person of color on your hiring panel?
oh no.
Was there a female?
Anthony, I'm sorry. You really gonna have to check yourself on that one. I'm sorry. Where do I work?
No, no, no. I'm making this a point. I'm making this a point. Was there a female on your hiring panel?
Oh, now there's a brilliant vocalist that could have been on my panel, but he wasn't.
Mm,
Mm,
The vocal side of things, we were the instrumental side of things.
okay. Well, see.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
had I had three men older than 40.
Mm. Okay. Well, more statistics. Music professors, there are 62 percent is male and 37.6% is female music professors. Um, so it's actually funny. Maybe we could post this chart on here somewhere. But so this chart says music professors' race and ethnicity over time. Tell me
Mm.
why Black, basically, basically, since 2010 to 2019, everything has mostly stayed the same. So it literally goes, well, white goes down literally just a tad. Every other race,
Huge.
same,
Mm.
same. And of course, the black people, same, but at the bottom.
Mm.
So again, that just goes back to this whole thing of like, what am I doing this for?
Mm.
Mhm.
Oh, this is a better one, y'all. Music professor wage gap by race. Y'all ready for this? Are y'all ready for
Ooh.
this? Are y'all ready for it?
Child.
Okay.
I love the Googles.
See. So for white people, the average is $53,000.
Mm.
For interesting, the Asian professors, they would make average about $54,500. Hispanics would make around $52,681, and your Black and African American professors would make average of $52,526. So, what you think these wage gaps are like, and why?
I think the biggest thing that happens is I mean, think about our undergraduate department, right? And think about all our department chairs. You know what I mean? Who were the department chairs? Just take a moment, reflect. I've already reflected. I've already thought about it. I already know exactly who was in those positions. That's the gap. Child, that's the gap. The gap is who they're put. So you can be like, oh, we're professors, but then there are ways, you can stack someone above the other person where you're technically at the same level, but then they go, here you go, and that still gives them the leg up. You know what I mean? And that's how they slowly just start doing that. Like, oh, just give them the chair of the department, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that goes through that.
Mm.
I'm sure.
I am. We all know the shady dealings of uh, higher academia,
Shady and political.
It's
shady
very
and the political, behind the scenes, behind closed doors. We know what they are doing, and we also know that they are really, really trying their hardest to gatekeep higher academia from people of color. So that is again why I'm like, who the hell am I writing this for? Because we all know that you are not really sitting here and reflecting on what is being said, especially when it's a person of color. But if there is a white person that will write this diversity statement, oh my gosh, they are Superman. Oh my God. So you see, they are going to save us. Okay. They are going to lead us into the future of music. This goes back to the whole thing. When your less melanated people do one thing, they are held to such high regards. The bare minimum, the bare minimum, not even the bare minimum, but wow, they get a Nobel Peace Prize.
the expectation, the what people should expect.
Mm.
It's so like, and what I hate the most, I'm going back to boards because this has been a huge discussion within the nonprofit like area the past 2 years, especially 3 years, especially. is who you have on your boards matters so much, and that is an understatement. But I'm going to say it again: who you have on your board is a reflection of your organization. So when I go into a boardroom, go into a board meeting, and I'm meeting all these very waspy rich people who kind of have no understanding of what anyone who actually are from communities who they're trying to help and serve are like. I'm sitting there like, this is like a patty cake, pat yourself in the back circle going on in here. Oh, we did one program that celebrated this one community who we have no idea except for one person of the community who we know who's from that actual community. And we're so proud of ourselves for doing this. Mind you, the actual program that's supposed to be celebrating this one specific community also has the masterworks on it, because they're still scared that if they like program a complete program without any of the Brahms and the Haydn and the Mozart, then no one's gonna come. So it actually bothers me so much to see all this immediate celebratory things happening in this like, because what are you actually doing? And that's what pisses me off the most about these positions is a lot of people in these positions are like, oh, we need to get this person in here. We need to have this person in here. I'm like, we should. Why are you here? What are you contributing to this besides saying like, I think we're doing a good job and kissing ass and da 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 da. Move. Because what pisses me off the most is when I see people in those positions who are not pushing, as you know what I mean? Like, you know, when you see people and you're like, you're someone who you're never satisfied. You are always going to the next level. You are always pushing. You are always seeing the next step. Those are my type of people. Those are the people who I'm like, you need to be there. Because if you're not trying to progress and move forward, why are you here? Why are you just there to say, I think we're doing a good job and I think that we have to pat ourselves? Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you feel the need to get praised by other people who are doing exactly the not work you're doing? And for something that you made someone else curate, you know what I mean? Like, why are you in the space? Why are you taking up space that people who want to actually do the work could be in and could actually make significant changes? It's because, bottom line, these organizations that are putting out these diversity statements and all this stuff actually don't, they're not about it. They're not really about it. If you're actually about it, it will be reflected in every single aspect of your organization. It's not just the one like community performance. It's not just the one diversity fellowship. It is everything from your CEO to your board, to your musicians, to the people who are in your audiences. If you're not thinking about all that, you're not about it. It's performative. I'm sorry to say it. Everything you're doing is performative.
Talk about it.
It's not real change. I'm actually more what Michael was saying a very long time ago. Like, I'll see what it looks like in a few years. I'm team that now. I'm very much team that because I am 1000% sure as soon as these things go out of trend, it's going to go back to exactly how it was. It's going to be a revolution of going back to exactly what it was in the first place.
I'm telling you.
Because the thing about it is the people who are in those positions now will never, ever give up their spaces. It doesn't
Never.
matter. If they say that someone else deserves to be there, they will never, ever give up their spaces.
No.
Their seats at
Hell,
the table? No.
look at your look at the freaking government. You know
Yeah, I was gonna say
how can you
Congress.
serve right? How can you serve for 30 something years?
On the Senate.
But and then just like, we need to make space for these people. Well, give up your spot. They will
Right,
never.
get up. Move.
They will never.
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 They will die
Be
there.
like Senator Palpatine. Bring it on.
It-
I'll fight you with my lightsaber. I will break down this Senate before I give it up.
Mhm. I'm taking everybody down with me. That's
Right.
literally
Right.
what they are saying. I'm literally bringing you want me to leave? I'm
Yeah.
taking everybody. I know all y'all dirty secrets. I'm bringing everybody
Right. Air it out. Before I leave.
I will say I'm petty like that too.
That's
Like
okay.
if someone takes me down, I'm releasing every screenshot I got
Ooh,
and I'm leaving.
not you got a storage.
Bro, it's called an end of the world bunker, and mine is
Mm.
full. Just know if I'm going down, there's a lot coming with me.
Oof,
It
trifling,
ain't just one.
trifling, such a trifling. You know, this is that, and that is this. Mm,
I will just okay, a quick aside about grinding gears. Band directors, can you stop waiting till October to hire people or try to see if you need help?
mm.
If you need sectional help, everybody's booked.
Ooh,
You
Everyone
book
should at least.
you book in the summer, and it is not our job to find you somebody. That is your job. So just saying, if you want the help and you want this, you want that, pay your people well. Don't argue with them on what they like. If you can't afford them, just say that and move on.
Mm.
And then also don't ask after school starts because
mm.
we already got our stuff lined up. And that's our livelihood. We can't be waiting there. I got the call. I got the call. No. I gotta make my money. I'm fat. I need to eat.
Uh,
Anthony likes to go to these expensive restaurants.
hold on now. Hold on now. Why you gotta call me out? Hold on. Hold on.
I mean, we can release the receipt in the show notes.
First,
I
you can release my receipts. I ain't shaming nothing. First of all, yes, yes, and yes. First, but that's a every blue moon type of thing. Okay. It's not like I'm going to restaurants and always spending a good hefty check.
say don't say the check.
So
Honestly, a lot of this is kind of coming into you just need to have your house in order. You know what I mean?
get your
But
house
at
in.
the same time, you know, be about what you're about.
Mm,
That's what I'm always very much like. I prefer to know exactly who you are, exactly who I'm dealing with, rather than someone who's just going to smile to my face and then lie behind my back. Like
chocolate.
all these institutions,
Ooh.
I encourage you to just say it. Just be about what you're about. If you're like, well, we want to program Beethoven, we want people who are familiar with Beethoven in our seats. Cool, because
You
you
know,
should let people know.
I'm sorry. That just like reminded me of something. If you racist, just say that. Like honestly, like
Not, not, just wear it. Just wear it.
Just
just
wear
wear
it.
it. Personally, I respect that more because
I
what
do.
I don't like is somebody who's like, "I'm for you," but then really like we know, and that's a lot of people. That goes back to that lip service. I don't like that.
Mm,
I can respect a flat out racist because I'm like, at least I know. I know for a fact.
right.
I know for a fact.
Standing.
You aren't here for me, and I'm not here for you, and
Mm,
we're fine. Long as you are not, invading on my space and I'm not invading on yours, we can see each other from across the room.
Ooh, that leads into something completely different. How to be a colleague.
Mm,
Very quickly.
mm,
If you're working with high school students, why are you going to bring them into things?
mm,
And just to let you know, they will tell the people they like the things that are said.
mm.
mm.
And then don't go around and be like, "Ah, people are so rude." Be better.
I need you to
Be
just be upfront.
professional.
Be professional. You know,
Just be professional. Just like keep it cordial. Hello, hi, how are you doing? That's it. Get to work.
but now let me just tell you something. And this is coming from old school Anthony. The moment that you disrespect my professionalism
Mm,
is the moment I go real low. Because I promise you I can go lower than anybody. So the moment you raise your voice and the moment that you start cussing, I really don't care anymore. You finna get a whole lot. Just know that. Now, because I have had a situation like this, and I will have to say, I was proud of myself. I was proud of myself
Very
how I dealt with this situation because I could have ended up you know, some moments. But I had a colleague um, end up raising their voice, end up cussing in front of students, might I add,
That's
um,
unexpected.
because they weren't getting their way. Okay. So just to sum up that story, there was an event. The event was not going well while that person was in charge and running it. I made a couple suggestions, like I think that this might be better if you do it this way. It'll cut time, it'll be efficient. Our supervisor liked that and was like, I think we're going to go with, some of the revisions that Anthony, suggested. This colleague ended up throwing a temper tantrum and cussing at me in my face. The only thing that saved this colleague was that there were students right there. That is the only thing that saved this colleague. Because I thought to myself, there's students right here. There's two allegedly professionals. Mind you, this professional allegedly that's in front of me is 3 times my age right now. 3 times my age. And is sitting here with a temper tantrum. What is this child going to think? Who is this child going to actually maybe take inspiration from? We need to show children that there are other ways. Whenever you have a disagreement with somebody, the best way is just talk through it and not just react. So I said, let me hold on to my peace.
My decorum.
For right now. For right now. So I let this colleague continue to talk all that they wanted, and I just now this colleague ended up just saying, I don't want to be a part of this event anymore. Da, da, da. Okay, we'll leave. Goodbye. Move along. Move along. After that, I definitely sent a long worded email because I didn't see this colleague ever again. Uh, so what I did was I sent her a great email. And that email, it basically summed up documentation is everything, everybody. Just
Yes.
know that. So
Yes.
basically, I summed up everything that that colleague said to me in front of students. I called them out for being unprofessional, being at the age of 63 years old, and a 24-year-old is more of a mature person than that colleague. And I left them with some good choice words. The same choice words that they used to cuss me out is the same choice cuss words that I ended that email with.
As you should.
As you should.
Because that's
I
what you're
just
not going to do. You're not going to do that. Okay. You were spared because I thought about my professional. I love teaching. I love being a professional. And another thing that I thought about before I responded, before for me not to respond to this person, I thought about I am a Black man. If my voice were to raise up to the decibels that this colleague is going to me,
aggressive.
which one, thank you, which one of us is going to be labeled aggressive? Not this colleague. Mind you, she was a white female. Definitely not that colleague.
No. No.
So again, there was many things that were going through my head. And I definitely could have, because first of all, nobody in the school liked this colleague. We were cordial before this moment, but if anything, and I said this in my last email, if we were in any other occasion or any other environment, you would have been picking your face up off the floor. And I meant that. I really meant that. So you, just in case you try to do this again, you better have some people behind you, because that's a problem. I'm done.
I would like to tell the audience that Anthony has a great filter. I don't do that. I'm petty as all get out. I'm petty as hell. I am petty as hell. Once I find something out, I will just do it over. Since you said I already did, I'm gonna just keep doing it. I'm gonna make sure everybody hears that I do it because
I
I don't
I
care.
can't. I am not. I don't have a good filter. Only when it is in a profession, when we are in some a professional setting that I am a teacher.
Mhm.
Now, right now, as a student, you can try it if you want to. I'm not a teacher. I'm a student. Try it if you want to.
Just try it.
Try it if you
I
want.
I won't as a teacher. I won't do it. I just you have a you said I do this thing. Okay, I'll just keep doing it.
Keep on. Keep on. Keep
And I
on.
will do it even worse. You just put steroids on whatever you just didn't like.
Ooh,
Because I don't care. I do not care. Because I know my students know I care about them and know everything I'm doing for them is for them. If you're not them, then I don't care.
period.
There's a whole lot had to come out of this, child. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Listen, sometimes you got to get it all out,
Mhm.
right? Like you just have to release it into the air. Then you got to woosah afterwards because I've been doing a lot of that past 2 weeks. A
Hey.
lot of holding it in and getting home and because listen, as much as we want to, we can't act out the way that some people can. You know, we don't have a second chances like other people have. So that's something I'm gonna be honest. You better think about it before you say it. Unfortunately, because we don't have as much we don't get as much grace or mercy as maybe our other colleagues. You know what I mean? So I admire you, Anthony, for how you handled that. I've been in very similar situations where I'm like just biting my tongue and I'm like, ooh, like, oh, I want to say it, but I'm not going to for a lot of different reasons. And I wait because it's always nice to reflect, take a minute, reflect on what is going on, let the immediate like fury wash over, take a moment to think. I like to sleep on things. I like to take a minute. I like to sleep on them and wake up and see like think about what I actually see and what actually happened, and then go, okay, now let me go in. Now let me go in because now
Yeah.
I see it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like there's a lot of things that they're good. You know, we've been reflecting a lot of the things we want to see change, but that's because we are people who want to see change. That's just the truth about it. We also know that there are the people who are in those positions who are doing amazing things, and we see
Mm-hmm.
y'all. We really do see y'all, and it's great to see. But there's more to be done, and we have to push the groups, the organizations, the people who still have plenty of work left to do, who have definitely they have the means to do these changes. It's just the actual desire, the intentions, and the actual follow through that needs to be seen. So maybe in 2030, we'll see how the field is and see if any of what we're
It ain't
doing.
that long.
What'd you say?
It ain't gonna take that long.
It won't. I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm saying that if by that we'll see in a few years where the field actually is, not the trends, but where the field
Where the
actually is.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Until then, I hope you guys, I hope this was something that made you think. Hopefully, there was something you pondered. Maybe you felt seen and heard, or you had situations that we brought up that you are currently dealing with. Know that you are not alone. Always feel free to ask us questions, and I've had plenty of people who've asked, like, "How have you dealt with these situations?" I always love sharing that. You know what I mean? Especially even the ones that maybe I feel like I could have dealt with better. Those are all learning situations. We're still learning. I think that's why this perspective, our perspective, is so unique, is because we are still young and learning and going through all these things. So we're not just set in our ways. We are constantly changing and adjusting. So we hope that this is something you leave with takeaways from. And we'll be back next week doing the same thing. Keep it relative. Bye, y'all.
Bye.